Hello and welcome back to another episode of Vintage Glamour. I'm your host Key Michel and welcome back to the show. So what is going on, everyone? I am very happy to be back here with you all for another episode, and I also hope that everyone is having a great day thus far, as well as a great start to the month of November. Now, last week we discussed the power of surrendering, and this week I wanted to come through and discuss with you all the power of uniqueness. Now, I am a firm believer that we are all unique. We all have different gifts, traits, talents, and even experiences that make us who we are. But unfortunately, we live in a world that makes people feel really pressured to conform. It makes people abandon who they truly are to fit in with everybody else. And oftentimes, people can also abandon who they really are and abandon their uniqueness due to insecurities. Perhaps maybe someone has experienced something in their past and they harbor that in their subconscious mind. They harbor that experience in their subconscious mind. Maybe someone in their past made fun of their height, and they harbor that experience in their subconscious mind. But they don't realize that their height is their uniqueness. Their height is their uniqueness. So I wanted to come through and really talk to you all about this because I want people to feel liberated to not only be themselves, but to express their own uniqueness, to express their uniqueness. So for as long as I can remember, my voice has always been a topic of discussion. And it wasn't until I really started to look back on my life in my 20s, I realized, man, my voice has really always been a topic of discussion since my childhood. I can literally remember sitting at the kitchen table with my grandmother, and my grandmother saying to me, Kiana, you mustn't talk so low. Kiana, you must talk like a lady. And I would look at her like, what? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm just talking. What are you saying? But I would brush it off. I'm like, this is just my grandmother being herself. And my grandmother had a very strong personality, but I mean, this woman had a true heart of gold. She was compassionate. She just was truly a beautiful spirit. So I just brushed it off like, hey, this is just her being her brutally honest self. Being her airy self. So I started to realize, though, she wasn't the only one that would comment on this. I would meet people and, they would say to me, man, your voice is different. I never heard someone that talked like you before. And I remember even working at Forever 21, there was a girl that would say, Kiana, I never heard someone that has a voice like you. I never heard someone that sounds like you before. It just always has been a topic of discussion. It has always been a topic of discussion. And I was reminiscing on how I was in my senior year of high school. And I was in a public speaking and writing course. So it was a class where we would have to write speeches or essays, and we would have to recite them to the class. And, I would, do my speeches and my essays, and I would go up and, I remember my English teacher, Mr. Fisher, just smiling at me. Like, yes, good job, just smiling at me. But I also remember going back after reading those speeches and essays and sitting down and sitting next to my classmates, and they would turn to me and be like, Key, why aren't you nervous? Like, why aren't you nervous to go up and speak? Why aren't you scared? And I would say, I don't know. I would kind of just be like, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't feel scared or nervous. And, unfortunately, although I was an amazing student in the class, I was a teenager and I had my teenage ways. So I ended up plagiarizing my senior essay. Now, this was the essay that we all needed to do to graduate. It was a 12-page essay, and I plagiarized it. It was also an essay that was on the Harlem Renaissance. And I plagiarized it, y'all. I just had senioritis. I broke up with my high school boyfriend, so I was in my feels, and I plagiarized that essay, thinking that Mr. Fisher would not find out, right? So I handed that essay, feeling good, like finally, that essay is off my back. I don't have to deal with this. I'm so ready to just go to prom and graduate and get out of here. And, I get my essay back thinking, you know what, all right, I'm going to get an A. Because I was an amazing writer. And, I knew, what, I'll do well. But I plagiarized that essay, So I'm just thinking, what, if I did well on my other essays, I'm going to do well on this essay, So unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Mr. Fisher came back and handed me back my essay with a note that I still have on top of the essay that says, "It looks like you plagiarized this essay. Please come see me." And I'm like, man, what? How did Mr. Fisher find out? All right, well, let me go see him. But I was nervous because at my high school, it was a big deal. Like, you was not supposed to plagiarize. You would not be able to graduate. It was a big deal. So I'm thinking, all right, well, what am I going to tell these Caribbean people when they come and they're getting ready to come to my graduation and I'm not able to, walk? What am I going to say? So I'm like, all right, let me just go meet with Mr. Fisher and see what he's going to say. And so Mr. Fisher says, Kiana, I know that you plagiarized your senior essay, but because you're the best public speaker in the class, I'm going to give you an opportunity to redo your essay and to submit it in. And I'm like, oh wow, so I'm not in trouble. I'm able to do the essay over. All right, great. This is great. So I'm like, all right, Mr. Fisher, I'll do it over. And I did it over, and I got an excellent grade. And I was feeling good, and of course, I was able to graduate. But it wasn't until I was in my 20s when I was really thinking about my life and reflecting randomly that I realized, wow, like I graduated. Also, if you're hearing noises in the background, I just want to let y'all know, for the people that already know what I'm about to say and for the new people that probably don't know, I live in the city. It is so annoying when you are doing a podcast episode and you got noises in the background because you live in a city. And you live smacked in the city. So I just got to let y'all know, I live in the city. I live in the city. I live in the city. So just bear with me. I live in the city. So as I was saying, it wasn't until I was in my 20s and I was just reflecting upon my life that I realized, wow, the only reason why you graduated from high school was because of the sound of your voice. The voice that everybody always comments on. Your voice. That's the only reason why you graduated. You plagiarized that senior essay. And that was wrong. But your voice, your uniqueness, is the reason why you graduated. So I share that story because a lot of you all have a lot of things that are unique about you. The things that make you so unique. You need to release them all. All of them. Not only for yourself, but for others. So many of you all that are tuning in right now have so many gifts and talents that make you so unique. But maybe somebody said something about it back in the day, and now you're thinking, oh no, it's an insecurity now. It's an insecurity when it's actually something that makes you unique. It's actually a gift. It's actually a gift. I'm telling you all, from the time I was a child, people were commenting on my voice. From the tone, the texture, how different it sounds, how deep it is. I mean, everything. Everything. And I would just say, well, hey, aren't we all unique, huh? But it was this unique voice that actually allowed me to walk. that allowed me to graduate in high school because I plagiarized that essay. And I did a bad, listen, y'all, I really plagiarized that essay. Listen, I really did. Oh my gosh, I did. I did. And also, if you are in college, don't do that. If you're in college or grad school, don't plagiarize. Don't do what I did, okay? Don't do what I did at all. I definitely regret it. But at the same time, I don't, because it allowed me to realize that, my voice is unique, and it made room for me. It's the reason why I was able to graduate, and I didn't realize it. I was blinded by that. Even when people were telling me, I was still blinded by it. I'm like, well, aren't we all unique? Like, huh? Because even the teenagers in the classroom that I was in, when they would turn to me and say, why aren't you scared to go up there? Like, why aren't you nervous? Why do you just do this so effortlessly? I would say, I don't know. I don't know. I just said, I don't know. And even when they would be scared, I would look at them like, why are y'all nervous? Why is this something that is, making y'all scared? I just never got it. But sometimes we are so blinded by our own uniqueness. We're so blinded by it. We're so blinded by it. Forcing ourselves to conform. Forcing ourselves to abandon our own uniqueness. So if there are things about you all that people have said, oh, why do you do this? Or why do you do that? I want you to write them down. What are the things in your past, right, that people have commented on? Look at that list and start to look at those things as things that make you unique. Things that make you unique. They're not insecurities. They're things that make you unique. They make you who you are. And I want you all to embrace them. To embrace them. Now, I'm not here, doing this show and acting like I don't have insecurities myself, right? But even I have realized that a lot of these insecurities are things that make me unique. They make me unique. They make me who I am. And how dare I abandon them? How dare I, turn my head to them and act like, you know what? No. Let me shun these things. I don't want to look at them no more when they make me unique. So, my mission is for you all to really understand that your uniqueness is your power. It's your power. And you are unique. Yes, you are. There's amazing things about you. So many gifts, so many talents that maybe you haven't even discovered yet. And when we talk about style, right? This is why when it comes to fashion and when it comes to finding or embracing your own personal style, you have to understand the power in your own uniqueness to embrace or find your own personal style. So you are unique. You are wonderfully made. And I want you all to understand that. I want you all to really understand that. So I really hope that this message and this episode resonates with somebody out there today. I really do. I really, really, really do. I just want people to embrace who they are a lot more. I really do. I know that we really live in a world, and if you're from America, to be specific, America is a society that really doesn't want people to be themselves.